multiplying fractions. Let's start off with one that's a little bit easy and that we'll be able to prove is right. So, what is half of half? Well, you're probably thinking, well, I thought he said multiplying fractions. Well, when we use the word of with fractions, that means multiplication. So, we've got 1/2 times 1/2. The steps for multiplying fractions are super easy. You multiply the numerators, so 1 times 1 is 1, and then you multiply the denominators, which is going to be 4 in this case. So the answer of 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. And this might seem like common sense. If you think about half of a dollar, and you take half of that, that's going to be equal to a quarter, or 1/4. I can even draw it. So here's a fraction of 1/2. I now cut it in half, and you will see that that is going to be 1/4. Alright, here's another one. Same thing. We don't need to worry about common denominators like adding and subtracting fractions. What we only need to do is to multiply the numerators, so that's 2, then multiply the denominators, which is 18. So 2 out of 18. And if we want to be really thorough, we should reduce it or simplify it by dividing by the greatest common factor. And the greatest common factor in this case is 2. 2 is the largest number that goes into 2 and into 18. So the final answer is going to be 2 divided by 2 is 1, 18 divided by 2 is 9. So 1/9 is the final answer. Here we see that word of again. So we know that we're looking at fractions, so that means multiplication. So we've got 1/3 times 15. Well, now we're kind of confused. We say, how can I multiply this fraction times a whole number? Well, we can turn that whole number into a fraction by putting it over the number 1. This means that we got 15 wholes, and now we can just multiply it like normal. Multiply the numerators. 1 times 15 is 15. Multiply the denominators. That is 3. We reduce it by dividing by the greatest common factor. And the greatest common factor in this case is 3. So we get the answer is going to be 5 out of 1, or we could just say 5 whole. And that should seem like common sense. 1/3 of 15 is 5. If we cut that 15 into 3 equal parts, those equal parts will be equal to 5. One more. The steps for multiplying fractions. Multiply the numerators. So we got 7 times 3 is 21. And then multiply the denominators. 8 times 5 is 40. These numbers do not have a greatest common factor other than 1, so it's already in simplest form, and that is the correct answer.